Okay, shall we start? Good morning, everyone, and
Morning.
maybe good evening, Dr. Gregg, Tyler Milligan. My name is Jitra Dudsdeemaytha. You can call me Apple. I'm a lecturer at curriculum research at Gateway School. Um, I'm thrilled to welcome all of you to today's workshop on resilience in soft skill from suffering to fulfillment. We're incredibly fortunate to have Dr. Gregg Tyler Milligan with us today. Dr. Tyler is someone whose life story exemplifies the very extent of resilience and transformation. I visit his website, very interesting website. He wrote a lot of book topic in this today. It's come from his own experience from overcoming immense adversity in his early years to becoming a globally recognized writer, speaker, and business executive. So Dr. Tyler has dedicated his life to pursue of personal growth and helping others to do the same. His academic achievement and professional journey spanning over 30 years so make him a leading voice in social welfare and human rights. So today, Dr. Taylor will share his profound insight that we can cultivate resilience in our soft skills, drawing for his experience and wisdom. Without further ado, I'm excited to hand things over to Dr. Tyler. It's a short name to call him Dr. Tyler. Dr. Tyler, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jitra Apple. It is absolutely wonderful to be here. This will be my third Thai university I've had the honor of speaking at. And if I speak too quickly, let me know. I'll slow down and we'll just continue from there. I am so absolutely honored to be asked to do this because just to let you know, my core education is engineering. It's actually um, in infrastructure engineering. So I went through the engineering, the math, the science, and one day in 2009, I decided to write down how I ended up as an engineer. And it's not that the story is any different from probably many of the success stories that all of you have and all of the wonderful things you've accomplished through your life. The reason I wrote it down was because I'm really not supposed to be here. As a matter of fact, I should have died 4 times, significantly died 4 times, and I was spared. I went through severe, um, abject poverty, abuse, neglect. My mother was a prostitute. My father left when I was 2. My family started out with uh, 5 sisters, um, 2 boys, mom, dad, um, and we lost 4 when I was a child. 4 babies died because of alcoholism, drugs, abuse. And then in the recent past years, I've lost a significant number of siblings and both my parents. And I got to looking at this when I was a child and I couldn't articulate it. But I remember thinking to myself, what if we didn't yell at each other? We didn't consume drugs, alcohol, and we loved one another. I wanted to play with my siblings, not fight with them. I wanted to love my parents, not be away from them. So as I got older in 2009 and my career was established in engineering, and I felt there was really no need to go any further with that, I wanted to give something back to the world because the world has certainly given something to me. From reading my book, you might think, or hearing my story, you might think that I've had a very terrible life, but I haven't. You see, my life has been constructed based on the same good and bad days your lives are constructed on, except something special happened to me. I began to develop an understanding for resilience that I could not, again, articulate. The absolute worst time in my life turned out to be the times in my life where I did the best. It's hard to explain other than I was at my best when the world was giving me its worst. You might wonder why I've chosen to focus on resilience today. Well, if you look at the world today, it's changing and not for the good. Life has a way of throwing curveballs at us, whether it's setback at work, personal struggle, daily challenges we all face. Resilience is merely not a survival tool. It's a transformative force that empowers you to rise above the adversity, turning the setback into a stepping stone and struggles into strength. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned starting out this journey is the importance of two things you would never consider when thinking of resilience. When we think of resilience, we think of a strong tree, a formidable individual, someone who can do it on their own. That's the worst idea ever. Look at a large tree, big, strong tree, massive trunk, solid. Tree comes, blows it right over, roots and all. But look at a tiny tree that can bend back and forth. Wind blows, it goes with the wind. That's what resilience is. It's not fighting against what's happening to you. It's finding a way to use that to your advantage. For example, one of the biggest obstacles that I come face to face with when it comes to resilience is my own ego. So the first thing I did was buried my ego, and then I went and asked for help because we can't do it alone. It is not a sign of weakness to ask for help. As a matter of fact, it's easy to make the mistake. Asking for help is a sign of weakness. That's why people are being psychologists and future psychiatrists, doctors, people who come to see you are afraid of the stigma of being called crazy. I I've been to 6 different psychologists, and one of my greatest fears was people would think I was crazy. I wasn't crazy. I was anxious, alone, and scared. But in this world where you have to pretend to be tough, that's not acceptable. The weakness is the exact opposite of what's going to happen. It's a profound sign of strength and deep self-awareness when you ask somebody for help. It takes an enormous amount of self-confidence and self-awareness to say to somebody, I could really use a hand right now. Do you know that's the only thing I did different from my family? That's the only thing I did different. And I didn't end up in the drugs and the alcohol and the crime because I got the help. You have no idea how important your jobs are going to become in this 21st century and going forward. I assure you that the number one problem that's going to be affecting this world will be psychological, psychiatric, emotional, all mental health. So you fine, amazing doctors have your work cut out for you. Because when I grew up, it was honestly terrible, but it wasn't this terrible. You see, I'm in abject poverty. I can't go to school. However, 11 years later, I'm taken out of the home and I'm put in a foster home. I'm put in a care provider's home where I'm given the opportunity to go to school and get an education. What I'm afraid of is because society is breaking down so much and we're losing our compassion and we're losing our empathy that don't even have that opportunity anymore. So I'm delighted I'm given this opportunity to share with you not only what I've learned, but also absolutely free. You can download my manuscript from my website and the link I'll share and all that. But today, what my hope is for our time together is to have fun, make you smile, make you feel good, make you believe the truth that you're going to be okay, that the world may be difficult, but we have ways to work around it. We've been doing it for thousands of years, and it all comes down to love. It all comes down to compassion. Only second to laying down your life for someone else on this earth. Second to that would be offering your hand to help somebody get through a really tough time. That's what all of you do, each and every one of you. There are many names in my mind of psychiatrists and psychologists that I thank daily for helping me get through. So that's the introduction. We're going to get into some fun discussions, I hope interesting, and a couple of exercises. Don't worry, they're going to be fun and it'll be a good time. So today, brief overview of my background, which I just discussed. Quickly, the objectives. I want to define resilience, explore the science behind it, examine different contexts where resilience is essential, discuss ways to develop resilience, and participate in practical exercises. Share personal experiences only if you want. And by the way, ask any question you want. No question is too sensitive for me. As a matter of fact, the more difficult question you can think of to ask me will be the better question. So engage in the Q&A and then the workshops. And throughout the session, I'm going to be referring to psychological theories and frameworks related to resilience. Well, because I'm talking to a group of very fine educated psychologists, so I want to be sure to adhere to an administrative plan or a curriculum that you may be currently studying. So really quickly, before we get into the gist of it, again, all I did growing older, this is not difficult, it's not rocket science. I want you to know how easy this is so you can acquire it, and it will make your other disciplines, your personal life, your professional life, much more enjoyable. And you'll learn that there's a big difference between joy and happiness. And you definitely want joy because joy lasts, happiness is fleeting. And I'll explain that as we go along. My approach evolved in 2013 when I was studying the concept of resilience quotient and what is it that people really need to get through the worst of our lives. And I came up with an equation, not really a mathematical equation, a word equation, and it's education plus compassion equals wisdom. And all that formula means is that true wisdom comes from combining academic knowledge with a deep sense of empathy and understanding. Empathy is the sugar in the soft drink. It doesn't taste as good without it. You can still drink it, but it will be bitter. But with empathy, everything's sweeter. Empathy has been shown in studies to open up our capillaries, our blood, improve our heart flow, open our brain neurons firing clearly, open our ears, calm us down, and allow us to listen. That's what empathy does. So if you want your patients to listen, empathy does it. You don't have to know what to say. And I love that about empathy because I never know what to say. Just be compassionate. See someone's heart and honestly care that they're suffering. And just remember, there's someone out there like me who cares about your suffering. And that's all people need to hear. From that point, you'll be able to walk them through your practice, whatever your patient is suffering from. If you have empathy and compassion, they'll come to trust you, and you can walk them through the 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 help they need. Slide 4, we're going to talk about today's objectives again. Again, understanding the concept of resilience, some practical applications that you'll be graded on. No, I'm just kidding, that you won't be graded on. Sharing lessons from my personal experience, because I think that's what really people, I'm not embarrassed and I'm not ashamed. So don't worry about that. You're not going to hurt my feelings. It's more important to me that you understand and I help you and teach you something that will help you. It's more important. And I I will be fine. So don't worry about that. Engaging in these activities, role-playing scenarios. I picked out a couple to help develop personal resilience plans for yourself. Again, this is just the development of one. If you want to use it later on, just to let you know how you do it. So let's look at slide 5. Defining resilience is literally this: the ability to bounce back from adversity, stress, or failure. Now, it'd be nice if none of us ever felt adversity, stress, or failure. I do. So it's nice to have a tool to help us recover from that. And the importance of it, well, is maintaining mental health. You know, your psychiatrist, your psychologist, your mental health experts, you know better than most that if we lose our mental health, our mental positivity, we're down. We could be the smartest engineer, doctor, scientist, astronaut in the world, but if we don't have a strong mental health, a strong constitution to bounce back from the world gives us, we're going to struggle. Emotional regulation is part of resilience. I'm sure many of these concepts, I'm sure you already know. Managing emotions healthily, staying calm under pressure. All right, so this is the tough one. How in the world does anybody stay calm under pressure? Well, do you know that you're more spirit than body? And you can get help from other sources. I'll just say that. So while we're going through this lecture, I'll just insert this little tidbit. I asked for help, and not everybody on earth could help me. I ran out of help. So I went somewhere else, and it seems to be working really well. Coupled with everything I've learned is something out there that's taken all the things I've learned, all the things I've experienced, and they're putting it together in a way in which I can relate and I can be functional and successful. And it all started with burying my ego, remaining humble, and looking out and saying, I need help. The mental toughness that people talk about. Mental toughness is remaining focused, driven, of course, involves perseverance, a strong will to overcome challenges. But mental toughness is also being able to admit it when you can't do what needs to be done, and you could certainly need to help. Physical well-being, when it comes to resilience, maintaining a healthy lifestyle. I don't want this to turn into a commercial against don't do bad things. Drinking, it's fun, it's fine. When we overdo things, was what I'm talking about, we tend to lose our physical well-being and our healthy lifestyle. I read, and I thought this was very interesting, I'll share with you, that when it comes to depression, it sounds strange. The first thing you should probably check is to see if you have gas. Your stomach hurts. Because apparently, many people who went through this study who complained of depression felt better after they ate an antacid. Depression is both chemical and emotional. If you have resilience, if you have a social support system, a network of friends, family, mentors, like good Dr. Jitra, you and all of you helping one another, that is such a gold mine when it comes to resilience. If you notice, I'm not talking about resilience by yourself. I'm not talking about asking for help. I'm talking about a social support system. I'm talking about other help from other sources that you might not find on this earth. I'm begging you to bring in the army if you need help, and don't be ashamed of doing it. Resilience is literally living your life, going through your failures, your problems, your mistakes, and overcoming them so they never come back again. And if they do, fix it like that. Be genuine, honest. Are you hurt? Yes. Are you in trouble? Yes. Did you make a mistake? Yes. What else does resilience require? Truth. I'm sure it's very frustrating for you as professionals, and it will be when you're out in the world and you have your placards on the wall and all the patients are coming in. It's going to be very frustrating because everyone's going to lie to you. And I don't mean that because they're bad people. I lied too. It takes a lot to be able to admit your mother's a prostitute, you were raped, something horrible like that happened to you. That's why truth is so important. If you don't tell anybody, they won't be able to help you. And getting that truth out of people takes empathy and compassion. They see it in your eyes, feel it in your heart, they'll listen. Then they'll listen to the words, the programs, the procedures that you learn at this fine university. Then they'll want the help, but only if they trust you and only if they see that empathy. Resilience is about self-care, building that support network, helping others, and it's all hands-on. Resilience can't be done in a vacuum and it can't be done quiet. If you're an introvert like me, I know it's hard to believe, but I'm actually an introvert. I'm an engineer. It's my right to be an introvert. I'll tell you what resilience does when you ask for help. You get the help, but not immediately. If you didn't have that resilience that you can tell yourself the truth, I know I'm going to find someone that can help me. I know I'm going to meet somebody that's going to know what's wrong with me. That comes with a lot of trial and error. Don't become disillusioned. Don't quit the first time, and definitely don't quit the 20th time, because right when you're ready to quit, it's the next time. It's always the next day. Right when you're ready to quit, the next day, everything was fine. Let's look at defining resilience some more. Talked about emotional regulation. Slide 7. What's the science behind this? Well, this is actually real science, obviously. Teaching people how to live their lives um, goes back to, well, our beginning, the very birth of our entire world. Growth mindset. I read a book once called Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck. She talks about the belief that dedication and hard work can develop abilities and intelligence. This mindset is absolutely crucial, but not only because it fosters love for learning and resilience, but it's again another tool to help you face those challenges. The ability to recognize you have a problem. A lot of people don't know they're in trouble. A lot of people don't know they're doing something that's going to lead to their illness, their termination, or even their death. People honestly don't realize that. Quite a few. If you are the type of person that can see the downfall of certain behavior, like lying, cheating, stealing, then that is a form of resilience. You just avoided a criminal life. Just look at what you didn't have to deal with. How about the emotional intelligence when it comes to stress response? Understanding how your body reacts, understanding what a panic attack is, difference from a heart attack and an anxiety, a moment of anxiety, and remembering that the average anxiety or panic attack lasts no more than 15 minutes. Breathe in a paper bag. You're not going to die. You're just having a biological reaction to a stressful moment. When you remember these things and tell yourself these things, slows down the anxiety, helps you focus. Neuroplasty, that brain of ours, it's so complicated and so misunderstood. Its ability to change and adapt is unbelievable. Believe that you can come out of the worst illness and be fine. Absolutely. We were created to come back. We were created to live forever. So we know how to care for ourselves. The brain's ability to change and adapt to new experiences has been documented to show new neural connections that are produced that strengthen our resilience through practice and learning. MRIs, CAT scans have shown brain functions where the neural connections have not only been created, but improved. The synapse functions are zipping back and forth, all due to strengthening someone's resilience and positively, joyfully dealing with the situation. It sounds crazy, I know, but whenever the best time I find myself, oddly enough, is when I'm in the worst situation possible. And I can put to use my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being by the things I've learned just by thinking them. I don't have to drive to the hospital. I don't have to take a pill. I don't have to drink something to calm me down. I can meditate. You probably have heard of meditation. I'm talking to the Thai. You invented meditation. You taught the world to meditate. all you do is take that meditation and you work the resilience techniques, you're a superpower in different contexts. Let's look at slide 8. Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
Dr. Gregg.
Please.
For the people who have the depression, they're different from the other people. So,
Absolutely.
what would you suggest for those people? No need for the pill to help, but it's still hard for them to like coping with the situation.
Wow, you bring up the most amazing question that mental health experts are talking about all over. Is a wonderful question. When people are on medication for mental health and it's still not helping their symptoms, it's not helping their medication, what do you do with regard to helping them? Is that your question? This is my personal answer. I'm not saying this is for everybody, and I wish not to offend anybody. But when I asked your question, I was on 5 different kinds of medication. I was on Xanax. I was on Zoloft. I was on all sorts of anxiety medication. I reached a point in my life where I could not find anybody that could help me on earth. So I did something I've been doing since a child. I prayed. And that's all I'll say. And I don't wish to make this uncomfortable for anybody, but it's the only thing that seemed to work. And I know this may sound strange to you, and I don't wish this to be that kind of lecture, but I began reading scripture and it actually told me what to do. It told me exactly how to deal with someone with mental illness. And so I started self-treating myself with these same techniques. And I found these techniques in a book that many don't read. And that I've tried drugs, not illegal drugs. It didn't mean it didn't come up. This is recorded. I'm not on drugs. I tried mental health medication. I tried psychiatrists, psychologists, mental health counselors, and therapists. I tried exercise. I tried meditation. I read every psychology book I could get my hands on. I poured it all over Dr. Jitra's information. I'm reading it all, like gathering it. At the end of my life, at the end of my day, all of that is excellent. Do that. But the one thing I did, that did it. It did it. With all the information I had, something came in, took all of that resilience training, and it made it work. I know how to talk to people. I know what to say when they tell me they're afraid. That's the best answer for you, and my most humble answer to you. Dr. Jitra has raised her hand. Let me ask that.
May I share some things?
Please.
You ask, right? It's easier for them if they have like the strong mentally. But for like the patients who in the depressive stage, as Dr. Tyler says, for the people who feel like they are set back or everything is dark, is quite dark. For everyone, when we talk about the resilience, I think for everyone it's hard, it's frustrated, right? It's very, very painful, it's suffering. Even for the normal one, we feel knocked out by something else. So
Yes.
sometimes we cannot heal ourselves by our own, especially for the patients, right? It's vulnerable for them, right, to take care of themselves. But even they see the doctor, but I think the point of the Tyler, it's mean that you have to take care of yourself. If you stigmatize yourself or label yourself that you cannot do anything, I'm weak, I'm the loser all the time. So it can't help. Even the great doctor in all over the world cannot help you. The one thing is that you have to faith in yourself and take care of yourself first. They have to combine together, all together. The doctor, the psychiatrist, the medicine, or even some of them might try like some drug because they have they want to kill themselves, right? So, but maybe some like in Thailand we have like module, right? Somebody that we can go to like Mopi, right? In Thai, we say like that. And for the one who believe in God in religious, they just pray, right? We go to Saan Phra Phum, pray, ask for help from the Almighty God, from the spiritual for some things to help us. So I think that is combine many elements to put all together.
Right.
But especially don't forget the important things is about ourselves, right? Trust in ourselves and faith in ourselves that we will I'll be back again, something like that. That's things that I like to share.
Exactly. Dr. Jitra explained it very well. Bring all of it together. Some people choose prayer. I chose it and it worked. That's what worked for me. But again, it's only a suggestion. I tried everything else. But what Dr. Jitra said, I tried psychology, the psychiatry, the medicine. I tried it all. And I kept searching. And everything came together after that. We're pretty special people. We're more spirit than we are body. We honestly do live forever. We never die. We never die. We just change locations. And I believe that this the resilience that we need is because we are dealing with so much pushback. The world is a very difficult place, right? Very complex place. And I've watched lately that it's getting worse. It's becoming more individualized. So people are more interested in them and promoting themselves as a brand than helping someone else. Many of the people you'll see in your professions as doctors are people who probably were influencers for a while and the celebrities for a while and drugs and alcohol, but now they see it's not good. Their lives are an absolute mess and they need it all unraveled. Yes, Dr. Chitra.
Tyler, I love it very much. He talked about the truth, accept the truth, right? And sometimes we don't have like the strong like health in physical or mentally. And two things that he suggests us is building support network and ask for help. Two elements is important as well. Sometimes we feel like, oh, I'm defeating, I'm the loser. So the next thing that you have to do to find another resources. So building the network. So you have to find somebody else. I mean, the real person, right? He said it already, like the building support network. I just I wrote it down and ask for help. Ask for help. Okay, because sometimes for the strong person or the confident one, they feel like, oh, it's losing face, it's losing my face, is I ask for help. I'm Dr. Jitra, I'm the associate professor, I'm the psychologist. I study psychology from bachelor degree to doctorate degree. So How can I
Right.
ask the others for help? But you
Absolutely.
need it because you are a human being. It's like a human community, right? It's normal for everyone to feel pain and we can fall down. And when we fall down, sometimes we need the crane or sometimes we need the others, right? To pull you to
Yes.
standing again. Okay. I just
Absolutely.
remember it and I like to add it
Thank
on.
you.
Thank you.
Please continue to add in and anything else, something come up, just come on, raise your hand and we'll talk some more. Sound good? If we look at what Dr. Jitra just said and encapsulated everything beautifully, is count on you're going to need somebody. It I know people in my life, I'm sure you do as well as yours, who have everything going for them. They're successful, they're handsome, they're beautiful, they have money, they don't have problems, they have fans, fan base, uh, people who look up to them. If you ever sat down and talked to those people, they would tell you they're the loneliest and saddest people in the world. Because all of these people that say they love them, they don't. They admire them, they admire their money, they admire their wealth. But this isn't true love, and this isn't true compassion. These people that you see that are high, so power people, they fall so hard. Remember, they're the big tree. They break in the wind. They will not bury their egos. No way. And they will not ask for help. So they are tough people. Problem solving and creativity, if we see on slide 9, what I'm talking about here is just that. These people cannot solve their problems. They're not creative. They can't adapt. They're not willing to approach their problems. Because remember, they're living a fantasy that they don't have any problems. And it's fed by every single fan that runs up to them and says, I love you. You're the greatest. Dr. Jitra just said exactly what they're thinking. I'm this. I'm a great singer. I'm a great Muay Thai fighter. I don't need this. That's what's going on. Don't be tricked into letting yourself be fooled that you don't need help and that it's also a shame to ask for help. That will lead directly to you getting worse. I see it every day of my life. Still within my own life, I'm dealing with my family members who still drink, still do drugs, but I'm still trying to bring them out of it because I love them. That's it. I honestly love them. I fall down too. I look at them and I say, they didn't learn the resilience, soft skills I learned. I'll teach them. That compassion, that empathy helps me become more resilient because instead of being down, being crushed by the world, I'm helping someone else. So, another thing that I suggest that I've come to see work and work very well whenever you're down, whenever you're feeling bad, whenever you're having an anxiety attack, get up, go outside, and help somebody else. I promise you, it works. And you will become less and less anxious and more resilient. It feeds a process inside ourselves. Dr. Jitra said it. You've got to have faith in yourselves. You have to have faith to get up and go help somebody. You could do it. All you do is show them empathy and compassion. You don't even have to know the right words. Dr. B.F. Skinner, psychologist, once said, if you're ever having a nervous breakdown, leave your house and go help your neighbor. Their nervous breakdown will go away. It's all in your head. That's problem solving. How do we develop resilience? Practice, never turning down an opportunity to face a problem. Cultivating a growth mindset means embracing the challenges, not running from them. I've ran from problems, but I always have to come back. You ever notice how polite problems are? They always wait for you to come back. How about developing emotional intelligence again? Understand that managing these emotions are easier when you empathize with yourself and others. Practice self-care. A nice jacuzzi sounds good right about now. Practice self-care. Be good to yourself. Don't say to yourself negative things. That's a lie. You tell yourself you're stupid. You're not. You tell yourself you're not going to be okay ever. That's not true. I've had hundreds of episodes where I thought I was dying. I thought I was physically dying from something because of the stress, because of the life I was in. But I didn't. It's all in your head. Build that support network so someone can look over at you and say, you're just having a panic attack. It'll go away. Let's talk about it. Understand that if you address things front on with confidence, people calm down immediately. You don't have to know what you're doing, but if everyone's panicking and you say, I've got this under control, everyone will calm down. But unfortunately, you better have a plan. And you do. And that plan is simply nurturing the relationships that you develop in your life with your fellow doctoral students, professors, family, neighbors, and one-day patients. The relationship is just trust. I'm your doctor. I'm here to cure you. I love you. I care about you. I have compassion for you. There's a difference between worldly love and what I call agape love. AGAPE. Agape love is the kind of love that stays when someone upsets you. Worldly love is the kind of love that leaves when someone upsets you. Resilience is agape love. I'm here no matter what. I will not give up on you, and you will not give up on me. Resilience is developed in you as a human being every single time you help someone else. And if you want me to explain that, I can't. I have been trying for years. In my manuscript, I try my best to explain this. But the more I give, the more I get back. And the less I take, the more I'm given. And the more I help people, the more resilient I become. Slide 11. Let's look now. Now I'm going to get you to work. Everyone's been so quiet. You're hiding. I want to bring you out. It's not that big of a deal. Let's look at some practical exercises that will help enhance resilience. This will help take all that we've been discussing and kind of make sense. What we're going to do is mindfulness and meditation practices. Now, first of all, you know what those are. You know how to meditate, reduce the stress. Regular mindfulness and meditation helps regulate our emotions. Journaling or setting and achieving small, manageable goals. That's the only way we're going to begin to tackle any of our personal problems and our professional problems. One small chunk at a time. What do we all do? Try to do it all. Here's what I do. We're going to take this small chunk. I can't do it. I need your help. Please help me. And they are always willing to help me because I'm always willing to help them. Tit for tat, quid pro quo. And it's a lot easier that way. the personal experience I've had with setting and achieving small, manageable goals has been the smaller chunk accomplished leads to getting it all done a lot faster than taking on the whole thing. You'll know exactly what to do in every situation with practice. And again, you'll improve without even realizing you're improving. But it works. It actually does work. Let me share some real quick personal information that might help you. Some anecdotes to illustrate how resilience has played a key role in overcoming significant personal and professional challenges for me. By sharing these experiences, I hope you'll see what I did as the outcome, and what happened. So let's start with this first antidote. Using reading, studying, and athletics as part of self-reliant self-care. Reading, studied, athletics from age 11 through 18 years. I focus intensely on my academics, reading, studying as part of my self-care regime. The reason I had to even work on this in the first place is because this might be a shock, but when I was removed from my mother's house by the state at 11 years old, I couldn't read, couldn't tell time. I could even tie my own shoes. Think about your children. Think about when they were 11, if you have children, or any 11-year-old you know. I can't read. I can't understand the words adults are saying. I can't tie my own shoes. And if I look up at a clock, if it's not digital, I don't know what time it is. No education for 11 years. My mother kept me out of school. She wanted me home with her. She suffered from a lot of issues, and being alone was, being abandoned was one of the issues. So she wanted me with her. So I stayed home for 11 years. The activities of learning how to read, working on my body because I wasn't that healthy after the 11 years, gave me a sense of purpose and stability. As soon as I learned how to read, I was able to talk, carry myself with other children my age, with adults. My confidence rose. What happened was education became my beacon of hope, ensuring I wouldn't repeat the patterns of my family. My family, highly educated, but not practicing drugs, alcohol, anger. Physical exercise plays a key role in self-resilience. The healthier you feel, the more resilient you'll feel, more, strong. I found immense solace and inspiration in getting better at something I once failed at. This is taking a big problem and just starting with one thing. I don't know how to read. I'll start with reading. I should probably know how to read. Small chunk, and then next step, next step. My second antidote we spoke of earlier. During the darkest times of my life, I found solace in an almighty God. And I began to pray. And when I did that, my life changed dramatically. I was taken from the home. I was given an education. I'm here today. Everything changed. My life was a forced nomadic existence moving ceaselessly from one place to another due to relentless abuse. It didn't stop at my mother. It went on for years because I had to live with family members. My family members are alcoholics, drug addicts, and that's where I was placed temporarily in a family's home. So the abuse continued relentlessly. It's a continuous journey of instability and fear, but each day was a constant upheaval. Lack of guidance, no mentors, no loving support from family. And all I had were my books and prayer. And something happened. Thought of living in a world without something bigger and better than me, it's just not capable. If I thought that we were all alone, I'd be afraid, but we're not. And the thought of living a life of loneliness and not having the hope that this all means something would be ridiculous to believe. We're here for a reason. We're learning resilience for a reason. We want to go on from Monday to Tuesday and help each other for a reason. And that reason is deep within each human heart. And that human heart, without being able to resist the evil, the problems, the temptations of this earth, will render us dead and will render us very, very lonely. That's why I focused on resilience as my inroad to talking to people about getting their lives back on track. It seems like the best small chunk to start with, resilience. All right, I've talked a lot at this time. I would love to open the floor up for questions. And again, no question is off the table. I would love to hear from more questions. Hello.
Hello, Dr.
Hi.
Taylor. My name is Leah, and I'm from China. People always tell you that your problem is that it's not that serious, and like everybody's going through those things. So sometimes I feel like if I ask for help, people will think like I also have this problem. You can just solve yourself. So this will be like my problem, like my question.
You feel if you ask for help, people will think that you're not qualified, or maybe you
Kind of
are,
like
or maybe you're sick.
um I feel like sometimes I just feel a little bit stressful from like work, study, or life. Maybe like other people all have this kind of problem. So I don't know if it's really a problem that need help or I can just handle myself.
I have those same problems you have. So yes, it's the, you're normal. Okay, the good news is you're normal. Um, I have those same problems. Everyone has those same problems. I understand the culture may not be as open to listening to other people's problems, right? I understand that. Um, but let me present it this way. I have a question for you. What happens when you go to talk to somebody and they're not available and they tell you everyone has those problems? How do you feel?
Um, Actually,
Bad.
if that's I will help them, but sometimes just feel a little bit different when it's my problem, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, of course. But what if I told you that your problem is my problem?
Maybe I'll feel like released a little bit. It's not
Good,
just my
because your problem is my problem. For real. No, for real. We don't know each other. We never met until just now, right? But I promise you that your problems are my problems. Because if I see you hurt, if I see you in need of help, oh, I want to help you. I want you to be happy. I want you to be joyful. I want you to be functional. Oh, yes, your problems are my problem.
Mm.
That's what happens when you open your heart up to something greater. It tells you very sweetly that love is sincerely the answer. I do worry about you when you're upset. There are people in the world that do worry about you. You just haven't found them yet. Don't stop looking. I promise you, you'll find them. Okay? But don't ever try to do it alone. Get that help.
Thank you.
Okay?
you.
And it was a beautiful question, and it took a great deal of courage. Thank you. Please, more.
If you think about asking for help, how can you do?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I want to add for the people who was being asked by other people, right? One thing that we should be aware in our mind is that don't judge the problem of other. Like your problem is a small problem, your problem is a big problem, because every people have their own problem. It may be big or bigger.
Oh, sure.
So for when we are asked by other people for the help, don't judge them. If you can't help them, you just listen. Try to listen carefully, empathy for them, what they are thinking, what they are feeling when they cope with those problems. My professor always teach that the truth of each people is not the same. The big problem one for one people can be a small problem one for one people. A small problem for one people can be a big one for one people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's a very good point. It reminds me of the bag of problems psychology concept. Have you heard of the bag of problems psychology concept? Dr. Yu was just talking. You're talking about that exactly. Three people hold up a bag of problems and compare, and all three people decide they will keep their own problems because the other ones are too big. Your problems, Dr. Yu makes a very good point. To you could be very big, very, very big, could be life ending. That's why you should always be, there's no such thing as a big problem and a small problem. When people ask for help, sure. What you use to self-care should not be something that will hurt you.
Yes.
You just said it perfectly. If you say to someone, if you're using something to self-care, it should not harm you, make you feel bad, make you feel sick, or hurt you. If you're doing that, it's the wrong thing.
It should be something that you should do for your health, for your mental health, for your physical health, and do not hurt you later.
Well, if you were to say to someone, your heart's still broken tomorrow, what good did it do? You woke up today, you say to your friend the next day, good morning. How's your heart today? Did the alcohol help? No. Then that's something you need to try. Maybe the hangover might help you change your mind. If it's making you sick, it's not good for you. Of course not. Okay. Now you're talking about stubborn people. The easiest way to handle stubborn people is to let them know you love them even though they're stubborn and they're just hurting themselves. And in this person that you're talking to, they don't feel that they're worth anything. If they felt that they were worth something, they wouldn't be doing this. So what they're really needing is to hear someone say, you don't need to drink. You're wonderful. sober. They don't know that. They think the only time they're popular is when they're drunk. The only time they get a boyfriend or girlfriend is when they're drunk. That's not true. If they hear from you, you can do this sober, you're better sober, you're lovely sober. Also remind them that the people that they bring into their life when they're drunk are going to be drunks. Like them, making it worse. Okay? Just tell them, what is the end game? Death, sickness, hospitalization, divorce, prison. That's the end game. That's what I do. That's what I tell people. I start at the end. And then I remind them, I don't want to go to your funeral. I love you. Right? And then reality. One day, you're going to get hurt if you keep this lifestyle. I let them know the truth. I let them know the truth. It's fun to be drunk to you, but everyone around you is not having so much fun. But when you're drunk, you don't notice those things. Be kind. Here's what I say. Be firm, but be fair. Be kind, be compassionate, but tell them the truth. I look at people sometime and I say to them, it's very hard to do. I say to them, based on your behavior, if this continues, you will die. I don't want that. And then I tell them why. And I walk them through it. I notice that people, you know what kills people? Being afraid to offend them. If you're afraid to offend somebody, if you're afraid to upset somebody by trying to save their life, that doesn't make sense. You're trying to save their life. Remind them of that. Dr. Yu, remind them, I'm trying to save your life. You will die. That's what I do as well. Does that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions? Hello.
Hello. I totally agree that we can't judge everyone's problems. Is it because that we don't know is it going to be big or small, and we don't really we're not them. So basically that we don't know that what they have been through so far.
Exactly.
But my question is, sometimes I got colleagues or sometimes I got my friend to come to ask me for help, but because I'm not them, I don't really know what they feel like, and I'm struggle to give them an advice. I don't know that what I say is going to upset them or not. Like, for example, I feel like I can't say that, oh, it's going to be okay. Oh, it's going to be fine. Because sometimes it's not. So is there any recommendation of how I react, when people ask me for help?
Yes. By the way, very good question. I find myself in the same situation all the time. I found out years ago that I have a choice. If I choose to keep my mouth shut and not offend this person and not upset them, if they get hurt, if they continue this bad behavior, is that also my responsibility? That's how I look at it. I'd rather offend somebody and hurt their feelings than see them die or hurt themselves. And I tell them that. I know this is upsetting. I don't want to tell you this, but I'm telling you this because I'm going to start with the end. You'll die. You'll get a divorce. You'll lose your life. You'll lose your family. You'll lose your job. It won't end well. I'm sorry to say this. And then when I do that, they're usually very upset with me, but they always come back. If I tell them what they want to hear, they never come back.
That's a good point. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for all the wonderful question. Thank you. Any other wonderful?
Hello, doctor.
They've all been amazing. Yes. Hello.
My name is Nat. Nice to see you today. So this is my own problem that I'm still dealing with it now today, but still struggle because I used to be a perfectionist. I used to be like to stick with like the high quality of work or everything. I try to make it to be great, right? That makes people around me expect all the best for me. Like all the work needs to be good, all the things have to be done for me perfectly. But
Sure.
I'm not that perfect, people make mistake every day. And like it's happened every time that if it makes something is imperfect and people's like, okay, they feels like they disappointing me. And that's ruined my feeling. I trying to deal with it myself many times. And I think I'm changing. I'm not that perfection anymore, but I think perfection is good, right? My question is how can I like maintain myself, or how can I like I don't have someone to reflect to me like you are good, you're okay. Even if that person say you are good, you are okay, but sometimes I still like I can feel like the disappointment that come from that person. I don't know how to deal with this feeling, or how can I maintain myself. Can you recommend?
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. Are you when this happens, it sounds to me like a bit of jealousy, envy, and projection. It sounds like they're projecting. It sounds like they truly admire you, they truly admire your work, and they're truly envious. That's clear from the beginning. When people become angry with us because of our results, it's usually because it's better than what they could have done, and they feel bad. So because they haven't learned compassion, they haven't learned empathy, they want to hurt you because it makes them feel terrible to be around someone who can do something so good. Now, you're not going to ever avoid these people. That's the bad news. The good, well, one day you will, but not on earth. The good news is
Right now.
not right now. You can handle it really easily by just simply knowing that you are doing the best that you can. And you really are. I know you are. Or it wouldn't be such an amazing result with your work. You are doing the best you can. Not everybody is going to believe that, because remember, anyone who's going to have a problem with you doing something good has something dysfunctional going on inside them. Okay? It's not natural.
Yeah.
If I saw your work, it's impressive. Wow, how can that teach me how to do that, is what I would say. And many other people would say, but you're going to run into the negative people, and they're going to see you as a threat. But that's just in their mind. Remind them that you're doing the best that you can, that also remind yourself, you don't need to please them. You're not doing this to impress them. You're doing this to fulfill your job responsibilities, your academic responsibilities. That's why you're doing it. And remind them, I'm doing this to fulfill my responsibilities. I don't mean to make you feel bad. Try that. You should see the reaction. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that, they'll say. Just be truthful, be honest. Sometimes I actually just say, hey, that made me feel really bad. I'm trying my best here. Boom. It works. It really works. Okay. You're lovely.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
Not everyone is going to think so. That's your opportunity to help them understand, and look at them, have the confidence to look at them and say, I'm sorry you feel bad. Would you like to learn how to do this better? Are you having a hard time with your work? I'll help you.
Thank
See
you
what
so
they
much.
say. Yeah. And remember this, if you're doing your best, there's no reason to apologize. I promise.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question. Any other beautiful questions? Amazing questions. Wow. I did not expect these questions are good.
Yeah, me too. I'm very impressed, everyone.
You may think of a question as I continue, and if you do, go ahead. We're about halfway through, and if something comes to mind, feel free to just, yes, hello.
Hello, I'm Pan. I love that you say about when we help somebody and we will get better and more resilient. I think that is a change from ourselves to the feeling of the other.
Mhm.
And sometimes when we focus more in myself, it's very trouble. Yes, I think but sometimes it change the focus of my
And it can because people are very dramatic and it's very intense. What is it that you find most difficult about it when it happens? What is the one thing you struggle with the most when it happens? Hi.
I think some problem that I can't solve, but when I help someone to think, what can I do for her, that I realize in my potential, and I'm not sure. Yes.
You're helping a great deal of people. I can tell you that right now without even knowing you because I can see your compassion. This is the danger of a tender heart. So a tender heart, a beautiful thing in a human being. To find someone with a tender heart is a glorious thing. But for the person with the tender heart, not so much. It hurts. And what do we do with the hurt? Well, what I do with the hurt is, I meditate on a higher power and I ask that my heart be softened and eased because I'm struggling. I read beautiful things other people wrote. I talk to sweet people like all that are on this call, and it helps. Am I still sad? Of course. But just remember, your reward awaits you. You're going to be rewarded for this. You really are. It's hard right now, but you're doing all of you are in a field that are helping people during the worst time on this planet. You're wonderful, courageous people to do this. And you, it's going to be tough because you have beautiful, tender hearts and they're going to break. Remember, we can't save everybody. I know, that's the hardest thing to hear. We can't. We only can do so much. But remember, we're not alone. There's something else out there that's helping us, that's working with us. And if you do your best, which you're doing, know that's enough. Tell yourself, I know it's hard, but you're doing an amazing job. You just don't hear it enough. That's what's going on. You need a stronger support system to tell you you're doing a wonderful job. The only thing going on in your life right now, you need that stronger support system. So someone can tell you your heart's going to break because you're lovely. You have a heart of an angel. What do you expect? That's what happens when you're a good person. You feel for people and then you start to take on their problems too. This is where you have to go home and separate yourself from that. Go out on the town, have a nice dinner, get your mind off it. You've got to, Dr. Jitra was saying, where's that self-care? Huh? You got to take care of that tender heart. We need you. We need all of you. We're in trouble. We need help. And you're the front line. I know you probably don't want to hear this, but your job is becoming, your occupation is becoming critically important. Did you know that? Your occupation is literally the only thing that's stopping this world from killing itself. Congratulations. You're in the front line. You're the frontline doctors. The mind I see in people is getting more bizarre, isn't it? When we have tender hearts like you, it's going to hurt. How can I help ease that other than saying this? You're doing the most beautiful job and the most beautiful thing. And there's people out there like me who know it. Okay? So that tender heart needs love. And I hope I'm giving it that love it needs. You're not going, oh, by the way, we tend to take on our patient's symptoms. Don't let that scare you. Okay? That's only a form of love. It's a form of love. It's a form of empathy. When you put yourself in someone else's shoes, sometimes you start to take on their feelings. You're not going crazy. You're not losing your mind. It will go away. It will dissipate. Okay? It's just a part of the psychological process. When we involve ourselves with another human being, it's very hard for us to separate if we care about that person, isn't it? Right? We find ourselves, well, we find our weekends ruined because of one patient, because we're worried about them, right? That's the job. That's love. It's like when your child has a fever and you're making sure the child is healthy and breaks that fever. That's love. And you have the perfect heart for this job, but it's going to hurt, but only for a while, What comes after is going to be paradise. Oh yeah.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And remember, you can't save everybody because not everybody wants to be saved. You will meet people that do not want to be helped. It's very hard to deal with, but you'll meet people like that. They're talking to you probably because they were told to, court ordered them to, parents, but they don't want help. Do your best. Wish them well and move on to the next. Okay, I know it's hard, but you're strong and you're doing it. But I can see in your eyes. I can see. Raise you up. I want to raise you up.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question. It's a beautiful question. Any others before I move on? And again, interrupt me anytime. I actually enjoy it when you interrupt me. I don't have to talk as much.
Would you mind if we have like a short break for them?
Thank
Just
you.
like the self-care, just like
But
10
Trisha
minutes
doesn't want to like, right?
yeah, to drinking water, drinking the
Thank
tea,
you.
and
We'll
thank
see you
you.
all back in 10 minutes. Thank you, Dr. Jitra. You. How are you doing, Dr. Jitra?
Yeah. So we wait for the others. So
You could use my microphone if you. Hello.
wow, wow, it's echo. Wow.
I think it was a free gift when I lectured somewhere, they gave me. I don't use it quite often.
And is that like a echo sound?
It does. It has the echo sound. It's not the room. It has echo. You turn on.
Okay.
It's in the box.
Uh-huh.
Are we all back? Is everybody back?
Okay, it's showtime, Dr. Tyler.
Thank you, Dr. Jitra. Welcome back, everybody. I feel better. Thank you. I think we're on, take a look at slide 15. Thinking about resilience, everyone remembers the 2018 Thai cave boys, right? Right. That was a big event. I was actually years before that. I went to the cave was Tan Luang Nang Nang. Was that the cave? And in Chiang Rai, I believe, in northern Thailand. I was actually in that cave. I have pictures of me in that cave. And my son and I were in Thailand, and I was working and we're on vacation. We're in that cave, and my son says to me, "This would be terrible if this place flooded." This is like in 2015. 3 years later, I see in the news that I think 17 days the young Thai boys were trapped in the cave. But what I talk about resilience, what I noticed throughout I watched a documentary that came out on it. The entire time, it's a survival story, and in the entire time, the Thai boys maintained a calm demeanor, and they were so close, and they supported one another. And in that cave, those Thai boys had their own support network, and they helped each other remain calm, and they literally employed problem solving skills under extreme stress. But they weren't trained on any of these. And this is proved to me that these resilient soft skills that we're discussing are inherently already in us. They just haven't been woken up yet. We haven't learned the tools. We haven't learned to implement them yet in our lives. But in times of crisis, we find, like in the example of the Thai boys in the caught trapped in this cave, they were able to invoke these skills that we'd like to learn. And the good news is that now that we're learning them, we can implement them immediately in any situation. So to give you an idea of how you would do in a high level resilient situation, we've decided to lock everyone in a cave. No, that's not true. That was my idea, but Dr. Jitra shot it down, and she said an exercise will be just fine. Anyway, that exercise is developing your own personal resilience plan. It's just the framework of it. You're not going to actually have to do the whole plan. And please remember, this is not a test. It doesn't, if you score low or score high, it's not that kind of evaluation. This is just to give you an idea of where you are right now, and perhaps some tools and skills you need to learn and work on. That's all that is. When we're in a crisis, the first thing that happens is everyone splits up and tries to take care of themselves or take care of it on their own. What I'd like us to get used to is working together in a crisis situation and being comfortable with that. And that's why I offered this scenario in group discussion. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to wait until after the presentation is fully complete?
Maybe we can run through the presentation, and after finish it, and then they will do the activities and sharing
I like that.
together.
Thank you. That would be a lot easier. So with that said, we just spoke of this natural resilience that lives inside each and every one of us. And with that natural resilience is usually brought out in a crisis situation. However, with training in a crisis situation, it's going to be the training that comes out. The cave boys is a wonderful example of it's innate, but we certainly want to practice this. Resilience obviously is an ongoing journey. It's something that you build on as you go, and you learn to get better at it, just like everything else. But integrating these strategies into our daily life is going to enhance that resilience. However, again, the key to it, in order to carry it out, in order to be resilient and be resilient for others, is again to be able to see yourself as a good person, but a person who needs help. Even if you're a doctor of psychology, we need help, and you're not afraid to ask for it. The purpose is to face adversity without crumbling. And like I said earlier, I use many techniques. It's not just my education. It's not just the support system. It's all the things I learned on earth. But again, faith, giving me an extra framework for understanding and interpreting my experience is faith that gives me that. The textbooks help. The discussions with people like yourself help. But overall, the faith puts it all together. It offers emotional comfort and support. It gives me a very strong foundation when it comes to understanding other people's problems and their needs. That comes in handy. It enhances my coping mechanism. And this isn't a sales pitch on faith. I'm saying faith is an all-encompassing, bringing all of our learned academic skills, experiences down to a honed, very powerful weapon to help people and help ourselves. That's what I'm saying it does. It promotes forgiveness and letting go. Imagine the weight that we carry. Talk about resilience. How do we resist anger? One of the ways that we resist anger, I've found, is through forgiveness. Seeing ourselves as someone who makes mistakes too, someone who needs help also, so we can forgive others and we can let it go. This doesn't mean that you have to put up with abuse or live with somebody or be around somebody that's abusive. This means that you can let go of the grudges, you can let go of the anger, and you can walk away. It frees you from the pain that is left when we hold animosity or grudges against somebody. It really makes us sick. What the resilience training did for me, along with the faith, is it provided me a powerful influence on resilience, offering emotional, spiritual, and social resources that can help me navigate through this very difficult life. And it has proven itself time and time again as, well, it works. And in the world we live in right now, where we're faced with a tremendous amount of very strange occurrences, well, it's time that we take a different approach. In the context of what you're going to deal with at the end of this odyssey, you're going to get you're going to get the worst of the worst, because the people that you see are healthy enough to cause problems, and they're in need of help. My heart goes out to mental health experts, psychologists, psychiatrists. I can't emphasize more how you stave off, well, bad things. One person goes to you and gets help. They don't go and hurt somebody else or themselves. That is what's so important about your position. And that's what's so important about learning resilience. You're healthy enough to help them. You are healthy enough to help them. I'll open up for more questions. That concludes my lecture, and I'm open to questions and suggestions and anything else you'd like to talk about.
Hi, Dr. Taylor. Can I ask about your past
Hi.
experience?
Absolutely. You could ask me anything. I
Thank you.
hope you do.
Because you mentioned you have a difficult childhood. Can I ask you, how did you get past those experience? I know you pray a lot, but anything else you have done to get past those experience? Because to me, it's
Yes,
quite difficult for an 11-year-old who, is unable to read and have difficulty adjusting, to social life, to be able to get to where you are right now. Thank you.
you're welcome, and thank you for the question. Well, as you can imagine, there's going to be long periods of a lot of horrific stress and sadness. As a child, I would go for a walk in a field that was just down our street. I would sit under a tree. I had animals. I had a cat. I loved that cat so much, and I would give the cat all my attention. But what I was asked to do during this time, and I'll explain, is I was my mother's care provider. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to be able to go off and think for myself, or be by myself, or play with anybody, or really come down from the stress. I was always taking care of my mother, and because she was sick a lot, when she didn't drink, she would have tremors, would be sick, and sick while she drank. Wow. I ask myself how I survived those first 11 years all the time. It's just such an excellent question. I didn't do anything special. I didn't at all. I loved my family. I took to helping my mom when everyone else didn't. I was the care provider, and I didn't have a lot of time to think about what I did or where I would go play. I didn't start thinking about that until after I was taken out of the home. So now at 11, going forward, reading, school, athletics, sports, movies, friends, all of that, I was able to live a semi-normal life for a few years before things changed again. So through healthy relationships with friends, I hung out with the friends that didn't drink. I hung out with the friends that didn't do drugs. I was scared to death of those kids because I just came from that environment. So I hung out with the academic kids, the really smart kids, and the really fun athletic kids. And that was how I let down. That was how I escaped the stress. Now, this is very important. I never got any psychological help for 19 years. For 19 years straight, no one ever took me to a therapist. No one ever got me any help. So at 19, my sophomore year at university, in my undergraduate, I had a nervous breakdown. This is what happens when you don't get help. It was debilitating. I thought I was dying. I was physically in the fetal position, crying for about a half hour before I could crawl to the phone. And guess who I called? My psychology professor, of all people. And it's interesting, but not because he was a psychology professor. He was the only professor I trusted because he had compassion. We're still friends to this day. He's over 80 years old. Name is Dr. Skinner. And that was the first time I got help. After that, I tell everybody they need to see a psychiatrist. They need to see a psychologist. I tell everybody this is actually something I suggested to the educational system in America, that every kindergarten through 12, K through 12, had to have at least one semester with a therapist, that they had to see a therapist once a week. If every human being who went through that, by the time we got to college, we'd be doing a lot better than we are today. So I didn't get any help. And until I did, I was not okay. That's the answer to your question. I didn't have any way to release this stress or to understand what was going on to me until I talked to somebody and got help. And that didn't happen for 19 years. That's an amazing question. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tyler. It's
Oh, you're
quite an
welcome.
experience.
Yes.
Hearing you saying it, it's quite an experience because, it's to me, I understand that it's very difficult for a child to go through these kind of experience alone. I used to work at mental health facility with teenagers, and
So
that's something they had to deal with alone. Yeah, sometimes they had to deal with it alone because no one else, they cannot turn to anyone else and get help because everyone, not rejecting them, but everyone is sometimes afraid of them because they don't know what they're gonna do, or sometimes they're too too distant from the relatives that they don't get to share or don't feel comfortable enough to share.
You bring up a very good point. With that said, do you and the other psychologists, the other doctors, do you ever feel like you become the mother, the father, the everything? Do you ever feel that way?
From time to time, yes, I am.
Sure. That can
Yes.
be overwhelming. That can be. It's an excellent question. And the reason I'm glad to answer it is because it gives the mental health experts an idea of what to look for and what to expect. The worst thing that ever happened to me was not getting help. Ironically, when I was 8 years old, I don't know how I ended up at the hospital, but a family member said, you have to have him looked at. You'll understand more when reading the manuscript, but I suffered from the most severe nightmares that would wake me up and I would physically attack my abusers, but I wouldn't hurt anyone else. And I could not control myself. I can remember myself moving about, waking up, but I couldn't control it. And this is a severe, obviously, as a doctor, a severe result of abuse that's not being treated. When I finally got the help, it was night and day. For 19 years, I thought that everybody felt this way. I thought everybody went through this. But back to this, one day, I remember drawing a picture for a psychologist. I drew the picture. He told my mother I was fine, and I never went back. So we're doing better. Our psychologists are doing better for sure. But what I assume happened, because I was so young, I remember drawing the perfect picture. I remember consciously drawing our family so it looked normal because I didn't want to stay. And I knew if I looked abnormal, I had to stay. So I lied. Isn't that something? Wow. That just blows my mind to think about. And that's why all of you are so important. We need you. We need you. Very much so. We do need you. So thank you for that question, Doctor. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you. Any other questions? The harder, the better. Because it'll unlock all sorts of information. And by the way, if you feel free, if you would like to ask questions over email, please feel free. I don't mind. Whatever Dr. Jitra is comfortable with is fine with me. I followed Dr. Jitra's lead. Okay. I have a question for everyone at the end. And the question I'm going to ask is, what's your toughest case?
From
Dr. just the feeling of it. Just what did you go through? But please, Doctor, you go ahead.
It's necessary for those roles to teach in the school, something like that. Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. Excellent question. What I know of, based on U.S. Department of Education, Mental Health of America, Boys and Girls Clubs of America, all these organizations, post-COVID-19, they realized that they were lacking in any educational support and help for especially teens and young children. The efforts aimed at addressing these rising concerns around teen mental health, especially in the wake of COVID, the pandemic, social media pressures, and other modern stressors. The U.S. Department of Education right now is supplying a grant, I understand, to universities. I understand that there's also a youth leadership and peer support organizations like Mental Health America, MHA, have been looking into empowering teens to take more of a leadership role in their mental health. I can provide you links to these organizations. The Boys and Girls Clubs of America are addressing specifically right now the bullying aspects. So I know for a fact that because of COVID, afterwards, K through 12 in America were tested, and the children tested 3 years lower than where they should have been. So a 7th grader was testing at 5th grade or 4th grade. Okay. So all these organizations started looking into it, but has it made any headway? No. I haven't seen any major effects of these organizations so far. It's pretty alarming. Here's what's concerning me. I don't know if our leaders are aware or even concerned about the mental health crisis in the world. And what concerns me is maybe it's because our leaders need mental health help. I don't know. But they don't seem that interested in America. I was going to ask you if there's programs, more robust programs for teens now. Yeah, but it's an excellent question. The youth of this world are being left behind, left and right. There's no doubt about it. I'm sure you see it in your discipline. The problems are different. Social media, influencing. Wow. I mean, it's money, power. Was it 5th grader? A 5th grader has his own TikTok, making $15,000 a month. And this poor young man is absolutely just destroyed. His mind is destroyed. So you're right. The bad news is there's a lot of talk and a lot of fancy articles being written, but I haven't seen any action. Teens are wow, they're difficult. And the only advice I have with dealing with teens is the same with compassion, except you're going to have about 1,000 more power with compassion with teens because they're competing with their friends, they're competing with you, they're competing with their parents, they're competing with celebrity. There's so many different stimuli affecting our children today that by the time they're 10 years old, they're in it. They're like little adults. They know too much about the world. I agree with you. It's scary. That's why we're all here. That's why we're all talking, doing something about it, right? So don't give up. This is the best time that right before things look the darkest. That's when they're about to change. And I do believe that. I believe that all this is coming together for a reason. All you wonderful people are going to be saving the world. I can see it now. Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
smile. You're saving the world. Smile.
Hello.
Hello.
So
Dr. Yu.
my question is related to the previous questions. So basically, let me set up my background. So I'm a teacher who worked in primary school. So that means I work with like little kids. What happened is
Okay.
after COVID, we have a situation where there is a particular child that come from a good family. What I mean is like they got money, they got good education, their family are complete. And then teacher in school, we noticed that these kids got a mental health issue. And then we would like to help, we would like to give like our hand to help them. But because of the child protection, we have to ask for the permission from the parents first. So we asked them to come to school and then talk to them about this is the procedure that we would like to do, involving that we're going to invite the expert from outside the school to talk to the kid. And then the parents seem to feel offensive and they think that the child doesn't have a problem. So they don't give the permission to us to do anything about it. So we don't have the authority or anything to do anything.
Oh.
So my question is, what should we do? Is because of the child protection that we can't do anything further. So how can we communicate to the parents and make sure that they understand that we don't judge them, we just need to help and we can't just let this go.
Are you allowed to talk to the parents?
Yeah, we are allowed to talk to the parents.
Are you allowed to communicate with them?
Yeah.
And when you do they shut you down?
They don't think it's a problem. They think that like it's something that they can fix at home. They don't want us to get involved. But the thing that we notice is happen in school as well, but we're not sure that it's happen at home as well. But when we talk to them, they don't want to give us the information about it.
Sure. Well, what you have, this sounds terrible, and it is. You have parents that don't care about their child. I hate saying that, but especially when it comes to money, parents who have a lot of money, they're very vain. They're very caught up in their own occupations and their own lifestyle. Their children are often forgotten and they become very unruly and, of course, even criminal and worse. Are you allowed to talk to the child in any way, shape, or form? Are you allowed to communicate? Can you say, I understand that your parents don't feel it necessary, but I'm available. Can you say, if you have a problem, you can talk to me? Is that allowed?
Yeah, we are allowed. So that is what we do so far.
So my answer, I'm in this situation all the time. Okay. So here's how I worked around it. By the way, it's rare that a parent would actually want you to talk to their child. I don't know what's happening in the world, but it's rare that parents want their children to be helped for some reason. I think it's a paranoia, power, vain. My child's fine. There's nothing wrong with my child. She's perfect. You're dealing with that. What I do is I try to show in any way possible little things. When I'm talking to the child, show empathy in my eyes, in my actions, in my words. Just push compassion. That child will find you. That child will come and find the person that showed that child compassion. If you put that seed in the child's mind that you're someone they can trust, it won't matter if the parents refuse to talk to you. The child will. They'll come around. But if you show them, I'm still here and I care, they'll remember that. I noticed something about teenagers. Teenagers give you the I hate you look, and then they walk away, but they're thinking about what you just said. And they'll come back. I've seen it without their parents. They've come back to me and they said, I know I'm not supposed to talk to you, but I need help. And I contact the administrator. I tell the administrator that the child approached me and they need help. They're asking for help. Eventually, the parents either give in or the child gets help on their own. But please show them empathy and know that's enough right now. Know that's enough and don't beat yourself up. Show them the empathy and then let things happen, okay? Have faith, they'll work out. And then you can relax and help other people and self-care. I can see it hurts you. I can see it's really concerning you. That's compassion and that's lovely to see. I know.
Thank you so much. It's good to know that so we are doing the right thing at the moment then in
You're
our
doing
school.
yes, you're doing the right thing. And the right thing feels terrible, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes, but you're doing the right thing. If you show that empathy, it'll get through, I promise. That's all you can do because your hands are tied any other way, but not that way. It'll get in. It will. They'll see it. As a matter of fact, every child that's abused, every human being that's in dire straits, that is in need of help, is always looking for eyes that are soft. They are. We are. And if they see your eyes soft, they know they can talk to you. It will work out. But in the meantime, it's going to break that beautiful heart of yours. Tender hearts. It's a tough world for tender hearts. But thank you for your question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other wonderful questions? I know this. I wish I had a quick fix. They're so hard to see that suffering. It's so hard to not being able to reach out there and help somebody and touch them. The rules are there, but they're not there to stop. They won't stop love. And out of all the soft skills I can teach you, if you remember that love always wins, it really does. If you show that compassion, if you show that empathy, that child will find a way, and that way will be found. It will happen. When your desire is righteous and good things will come from that. And tender hearts always get the worst of it. We see what could be possible. Our hearts break when we see that person not take that step. But this is going to work out for you because you're tough. The other thing about tender hearts is they're also strong hearts. That love restores us. And that love's going to restore you. You're down right now, I can see it, but you're not going to be down for long. And the reason you're down, by the way, is because you're a good and wonderful person. That's a really good reason to be down, okay? That's the best reason to be down, because you're a good and wonderful person and you love somebody and you want them to be okay. Dr. Jitra has picked the best psychologist in the world. I tell you, you got it. Okay. Any other questions? You're beautiful people. You're on the right track. You're doing all the right things. It just doesn't feel like it because the reward is so rarely seen. 25 years later, you'll have someone come back and say, "You saved my life." 25 years later, "Where were you last month? I could have used you." But it will come. Okay. Know that you're making a positive difference. I promise. Look at me. Use me as an excuse. Use me as the test. You saved me. I'm one of those you saved. So it works. Yeah. Any other questions, comments?
I love all of your questions. So just
These
take
questions
like
are
a spatial
amazing.
times. Right. I agree with you, Dr. Tyler. So please, this is a good time and amazing time for us to sharing, to have the questions to ask the person who have the great experiences in resilience, not just only the content of resilience. Today we not learn by head, but be learned by heart. So please grab this opportunity. If you have the case study, you can ask, and we can share. We can learn from your experience as well. Mm-hmm.
And also with the manuscript you have, well, if you want me to come back and answer questions about the manuscript, I would love to. Whatever you like, Dr. Jitra, I will do it. Okay. And so this doesn't have to be the last time. So I don't want anyone to worry. And I'm available anytime by email and certainly coming back. Okay. So
yes.
Can I ask one more questions?
Okay, sure.
Another kind of personal questions. Like I teach university student, and then my students will be like around 19 to 23 years old. And I found like now a lot of them have some kind of depression problems. And then there's one student, like I teach Thai in China, and then so like one of our students, she kind of feeling like very, very stressful when learning language. And then they keep talking to the like our teachers about her problem. But like I feel like we just like language teachers. We don't have the psychological background. We actually don't know how to help her. And we told her a lot of times and also talked to her parents to get some like professional help. But seems like she didn't go there and keep talking her problem with us. I actually don't know how to solve this problem. So
generally speaking, the person who is hurt and need help, they go to the person they trust. And that's why they're coming to you because they trust you. And so this is why it's so important to show compassion and empathy, but be truthful and say, "Oh, I would love to help you, but I am a language professor. I can refer you to someone, but I certainly want you to be okay." They see that empathy and they'll keep coming back. As long as they come back, just be sweet, compassionate, let them know that, oh, you'll hear that, you'll listen to them, but you're not a psychologist. It's the empathy and compassion that is helping them, not the psychology. See what I mean? They just want to know someone cares about them. They just want to know someone thinks about them. That's it. They want to know they're important to somebody. You don't have to know all of the tenements of psychology and psychiatry to help them. You just have to be sweet and compassionate and say, I'm a language professor, but I care about you. I can refer you to a really good person. That's all they want to hear. They'll probably never go to that person you refer them to, though. They know they're getting the help from you. They walk away feeling good about themselves. That's it. You're helping them. You're actually helping them.
Thank you
If
for
you weren't,
mentioning.
they wouldn't be coming to you if you weren't. So that's why they are. And just refer them to someone politely and compassionately and see what happens. But they just want to hear a kind word. When they left the house that day, everyone was yelling at them. They get a kind word from you. That's therapy. Oh, that is therapy. 100%. Anytime you show somebody patience, love, understanding, that's psychology. That's therapy. Okay? So you're doing it anyway. Even as a language professor, how do we get a language professor on this call? You're doing it. That's all it is. Now,
Thank you so
if
much.
you have that foundation, Dr. Jitra knows personally, if you have the foundation of you care about the patient,
Yeah.
they're going to get better. They get better. They absolutely do. A lot of
I
times
agree.
they just come to hear somebody say good morning without attitude. That's,
Yes.
so congratulations. You're a lovely professor.
Yes. Dr. Tyler, I get your key message every time when you all hear Dr. Tyler says about to create a sentence, right? I care about you. I concern about you. This is the key message that you have to provide to all of them first. The tone of voice, the pace of yours. So, and I mean, the person who talk with you will see and feel, not just only see by their eyes, but they can feel by their heart, right? And how you empathize him or her, right, with your tender heart. Okay. The Taylor says 3 words, right? Patience, love, and passions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
don't be afraid of it. Okay. If you don't know how to consult them or console them, just sit beside him or her. Just sit beside him or her. When the others know that they got a friend, they got somebody to take care of them, sit beside them. So it's create the willpower and the energy, the inner energy, and then they can create the own potential, right? And to empower and enrich it again.
It's actually, Dr. Jitra, you're right. It's power. You do feel that power when you're with somebody and you care about them. You do. And it certainly seems like gold these days just to hear somebody say good morning sweetly or something kind to you or excuse me and thank you. It's like gold these days. So it's even more important to show that sensitivity. But you have to mean it, because if people see you're not genuine, they'll run away. Yeah, you'll have to mean it. That's the hard part. You have to learn to mean it. And you know what? Something really strange happens. You actually do mean it. You actually do care about people you don't even know. Isn't that crazy? Is it? I use the word crazy with a room full of psychologists. This was not a good idea. But it's strange how it works. And it does. When you show any type of passion or empathy, compassion, it changes the conversation immediately. It really does. So great answer or questions and great answers. Wow. And again, I'm available and I'll come back. If there's anything else that you'd like to talk about or ask before we sign off, I could stay all night with all of you. This has been lovely. I'd be happy to answer. If not, the manuscript is free for everybody. Go to my website. And I know my website needs fixing. There's someone on the call that tells me my website needs fixing, but I won't name names. And it does. My website does need fixing, but the book is there. The manuscript's available. Go to it, download it, and please feel free to work with Dr. Jitra to ask me back, to, if it's okay with Dr. Jitra, to contact me, anything you like. And I will be there. Okay. Any other questions? We good? I don't want to leave without answering all the questions. Okay. Dr. Jitra, this has been an absolute honor and pleasure. And I got more out of this than I expected. You are all incredibly wonderful people and doctors. And I feel so much better. You're all in the world. You really do. You really made my night. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Tyler. But before we will leave, who would like to start with your reflection, please?
And you're looking for reflections?
Yeah. I'd like to hear
on
from all of you.
What I have learned from this session is that for the resident, you need to have the empathy for yourself and other people. This is the key thing. So
Yes.
the empathy combined with the patience and love at least.
Let me expand on that, because that's absolutely, you are perfectly right. The hard part is not your academics. You're very intelligent people. You're super intelligent. You wouldn't be at this university if you weren't intelligent. It's not the math, the science, the medicine, the psychology. It's not. The hard part is the soft skills. The hard part is literally caring about what you're doing and literally wanting it to be your best, wanting to help people, wanting somebody to truly be joyful and not miserable, wanting the world to be a better place. Those are hard. Those are not natural to a human being. It's not natural for us to want to share and be good to one another. That's actually not human. We have to learn, and you know how hard it is for us to learn. You just said perfectly what needs to be done. If you learn the empathy, you got it, because you're already amazing doctors. But if you learn that empathy and compassion, that rounds out your discipline, your field, whatever it may be, doctor, lawyer, psychiatrist, psychologist, mental health expert, you're going to be not only very good at what you do, but you're going to help a lot of people. And know this, if you're doing good at anything in your life, it's because you are meant to be doing this. Literally, if you're doing good for people, you're helping people, you're meant to do this, and this is your calling. So, a little bit of empathy, a little bit of compassion, and all that super duper knowledge that Dr. Jitra teaches you, you're unstoppable. You're machines. You're life-saving machines. Thank you for the question. Good question.
Okay. Thank you. So that is my short reflection for this session. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank
And Dr. Perdat says you probably get an A+. Look, Dr. Perdat, he's not even paying attention. A+. If you want to give him an A+, it's up to you. I just suggested it. Any other volunteers?
Can it be me, please?
Hello.
Okay, I found today is a really good chance for me to talk and to learn a lot from you, right? From the topic that's resilience, and you show us that everyone got suffer, and from that suffer we can fulfill ourselves. And the most important is ourselves. Everyone have to be like compassion to ourselves first, and then when we fulfill ourselves, we can fulfill the others, and then we can care to the others. That would make the world the better place. That's what we
That's
learned
it.
today.
See how smart you are? I bet, you know what? How many of you, based on your question, how many of you think that I have suffered more than you? Not at all.
People got
I
their
have
own
not
problems.
suffered more than any of you at all. Not at all. Every single person in the world suffers. No one suffers more than someone else. I never, ever think I suffered more than anybody. I don't know your life. You could have suffered worse than me. So there's knowledge and wisdom when you learn that who says that I suffer more? Who says? I don't know everybody in the world. And when I can humble myself and say, I'm going to use my gift of making it out of this to help other people, that makes everything better. My anxiety's not as bad. My depression's not as bad. It really does go away. It really does. It's nice. You sleep better. That was a beautiful question and a beautiful way of summarizing what you learned. That's exactly what you were supposed to learn. So you get A+. You get it there. Everyone's getting A's.
Thank you, doctor.
You're welcome. Thank you, doctor. I thought these questions are wonderful. I can't believe that. I absolutely am astounded by these questions. They're really good. Anything other than any other reflections?
Yeah, thank you so much,
Oh no,
Dr.
not you again. Oh, no, I'm teasing.
Yeah, and
Oh.
I want to say like thank you, Dr. Tyler, and ขอบคุณมากๆนะคะอาจารย์จิตรา today I feel like except from the knowledge and the like suggestions, I also feel like the communication or the language can be really powerful. Like you keep saying that everyone's questions are like beautiful questions and nice questions. I feel like I'm really like comfort and also warmth. Like
Good.
I felt like just after these 3 hours, I'm like more brave to speak out or to ask for help and everything. So like learned a lot from this session. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Amen. Thank you. Oh, that's so good to hear. I'm so happy to hear that. A+. All these A's, all of wonderful. And these again, where does this come from? I mean it. I spent so many years seeing suffering that I just want to see love. I just want to see joy. I truly, truly mean it. I've seen people do the most amazing and beautiful things, just absolutely astounding things in the world. And we are so spectacular. We're so unique. We're the only species like this, and we're literally supposed to be here. And this is our world. and we're actually truly making it better. And all of that, I really mean, I really care about. This is the power of working together, telling the truth, saying you're sorry, being compassionate, truly understanding your own weakness, humbling yourself, and asking for help. That's it. That's all that I'm doing. It's easy. It's so easy. And I want it to be seen that way. I didn't do anything special, nothing at all. Just cared, had compassion, said I'm sorry when I did something wrong, and said thank you when someone did something nice. That's all I've been doing. And learning and reading and studying and putting it all together, of course. But you all already have that. And you all already have the compassion too. If I taught you anything today, it was to affirm that you're already amazing doctors and you are beautiful people. That's what I did today. Yes, sir. Are you yes. I see someone raising their hand or poking the camera. I don't know what that means. Any other questions or reflections?
Thank you Dr. Taylor and ขอบคุณอาจารย์จิตตาค่ะ Thank you อาจารย์จิตตา I learned a lot from this session. Even my English is very poor, but I learned that I realized about my resource, my best resource around me, and feel about my feeling. And then when I feel about my feeling more, I hope I will feel about other feeling as well too. And as I learned from these sessions, I learned about pray for my Buddha and meditation. I do meditation and pray for my Buddha every day, and I found a little bit change about my feeling and myself. I found that I get angry very short time, and then I know about my anger happen. I can shut down it shortly, and it helps my, how can I say, my mental health better. So I will keep maintain, do meditate and pray for Buddha. Thank you that your suggestion and reconfirm my practice. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. ขอบ
Oh,
คุณอาจารย์ค่ะ
Kapukap. Oh, thank you so much, Swatikap. By the way, real quick, you are absolutely right. And I don't think you have a problem that you think is a big problem, because acknowledgement of your problem, the courage to admit you have a problem in front of all of this right now, you don't have a problem. You beat that problem. You're humble. You get it. So congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any other wonderful reflections? These are good. These are amazing. When I set out to embark on this whole book writing advocacy, I chose save one another specifically because I meant it literally. I believe 100% that we are here, the reason we are here on earth. What's the meaning of my life? Everyone wants to know. You're here to save one another. That's it. You got it. That's as easy as it gets. So I called my foundation that, and I believe that we're saving one another every single day. Anything else?
Yes อาจารย์ค่ะ
ค่ะ
ภาษาอังกฤษหนูไม่ดี I think resilience is the power of superhero to heal ourselves and the others, and I see it if you are very appreciate ขอบคุณมากๆนะคะอาจารย์แล้วก็อาจารย์เทเลอร์ด้วยค่ะ
So wonderful, so sweet.
Yeah.
My
So
best
wonderful.
experiences have always been with the Thai. It's my home away from home. I just absolutely love your country, and I just love the people. And you get it. You truly get it. Not only are you incredibly intelligent academically, but you have good hearts. And you're, I think Thailand is going to save the world. That's what I think. Thailand will save the world. Yes.
Mhm.
The people on this call of all nations have the best heart in the world. And I don't think this was an accident that we all came together. Every single one of you are beautiful angels. I can see it. I'm absolutely so beside myself with joy. I don't get to have these conversations often. So thank you. That's my thanks to all of you. And I will remember this time, and I hope we can spend it together again soon. So thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Jitra, for everything,
Yes.
and your beautiful doctoral students and this fine university. Thank you so much from me to you and all of you. Thank you.
I
Yes.
just want to say thank you, Dr. Tyler, for your experience and for sharing. That's all.
You're
And hope you have a
welcome.
great night.
Thank
Yeah.
you. You too, sir. Thank you, doctor. Have a great night. Have a great weekend, all of you.
Yes. I know that every experience that you share, you walk, you talk, it's not just only content, the pace, the tone of voice, the gesture, and everything that you provide to us, your example, your techniques, your tips. It's wonderful, it's fantastic for us. Resilience is come from practice, not just only sitting and listening, right? Practice and practice. Today, Dr. Tyler say, "Oh, it's easier because he practiced a lot along his
Practice a
way
lot.
since he was young." He says, this is the very very profound, but I think it's worth say good morning to somebody, right? This is mean like
Absolutely.
you building network already.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
another person that I have to say thank you and I'm grateful for is Kun Jun. She turned off her camera because she's the coordinator who made
And
me and Dr. Tyler know each other because of Kun Jun. Kun Jun,
thank you,
okay.
Dr.
Thank you,
Jitra,
thank
because
you, thank you
I
so
was
much.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much
I
for
was
today. I
I
really
wanted
appreciate it.
I
Yeah.
was about to thank
Yes,
June,
yes,
and
yes,
she was so shy. She
yes.
told me
I
not
like
to,
to
but I was going to do it anyway.
Yes, I like to
Yeah.
give her a credit very, very much because I have no idea. I confess, to be honest, I confess to you because I have no idea who's the Dr. Tyler about the resilience. And okay, we shall start with the soft skill because he have his own experience. And but for me, I'm very, very impressed, and it touched me by heart.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Thank
it's
you.
very, very touched. Yes,
Oh,
I could say like this. And for all of you as well, share your story to the others. And this is the one thing that you can practice your own experience. And I'm quite sure that Kun Jun, she shared her story to the others as well because she worked with Dr. Tyler. And after this, I think that I will keep in touch with you, Dr. Tyler, because it's
I hope
very
so.
amazing time. Yes, very amazing time, and I eager to learn and curious to know plenty of things to you. And I like to encourage you all to visit his website. He has plenty of resources, books. He's a writer, author, and his podcast or even the interview with many channels. So please take a look and you will gain lots of knowledge from him. Very appreciate very much, Dr. Tyler. Kun Jun, you
It's,
like to say something to our class?
Yes, June.
Kun Jun.
By the way, June, thank you for
Hi,
reviewing my
everyone.
notes and everything.
Um, hello, everyone. I'm so sorry. I'm on my traveling, so I just proud of the Dr. Tyler lecture and Dr. Jitra. I appreciate it. I know him because he is so valuable in society for Thai society. Yeah. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you very much, Dr. Jitra ค่ะขอบคุณนะคะ
Thank you, Junebug, for all your help. And so sweet. She was so sweet. She read my script. She looked over everything. She made sure that everything was good. And thank you, June. And thank you, Dr. Jitra, and all of you doctors. And I made all new friends. I'm never going to let you go. I hope we see each other again. Please don't stay away long. And thank you. And I answer all of my emails. So don't worry. No, I'm never too busy to help someone else.
Yes.
It's what I like to do most. It's better than my usual boring job. Let's put it that way.
Thank
You've
you.
all
Thank
been
you.
absolutely so stimulating and wonderful. And you're all going to do so very well. Absolutely so very well. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I love you all. Take care. Swatika.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. May God bless you. May God bless you. May God bless you. See you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you.